No running, please. As I indicated, I might send people out if they're running. No running, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is in the middle of the setting, so you are equally close to the stage if you are on that side. So please feel free to move through and occupy some of the tables on that half of the room. Ladies and gentlemen, as you come through, the stage is equally distant from either end of the hall, meaning that there are many tables up to this side of the hall, which are just as close and if not closer to tables currently occupied. Ladies and gentlemen, as you walk in, please remember that the far side of the hall is actually just as close to the stage. The stage is right in the middle of all the settings, so there's plenty of tables down this end of the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to find your tables and take your seats because we cannot get underway until everyone is seated. So please do find your tables and take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, I do ask that you find a table and take your seats as promptly as possible. There are many tables to the left of the stage. The stage is placed in the middle of all the tables. Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats, to your tables as promptly as possible. There are still many tables available to the left of stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I do ask that you take your seats as quickly as you can. We cannot begin proceedings until everyone is seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I do ask that you find a table and take a seat promptly. We cannot begin until everyone is seated. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're nearly all back in the room, but we do need you to take your seats, please, so that we can begin very shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, as some of you will have noticed, the service has begun, so it's very important that as the guests, we are sitting at our tables. So please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you to very promptly take your seats? Could I also thank the Basel, Deakin and Griffith teams for their help in managing this logistical exercise. Those teams can now leave their positions and come and take their seats as well. Thank you. Patricia, should I start? I just do a welcome and bring trivia. Yeah.
3 minutes, now the last rushing in.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to begin. Could I please have your attention? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to officially welcome you to the awards banquet of the 33rd Annual Willem C. VIS International Commercial Arbitration Moot. What a week it has been. And as I'm sure you will agree, this is a fine way to celebrate the achievements of everyone in this room, not simply for what they've achieved during this week, but for the 6 months or so of work that you have all put in to understanding the problem, all the learning that you've done, all the tears, all the joys, the whole range of emotions that you will have undoubtedly experienced while participating in this competition. We hope you've had a wonderful experience, and we hope you find this a wonderful way to celebrate it. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the period of the competition at various points, we have invited teams and arbitrators to reflect on particular aspects of the problem and to share their opinions with us as to who had the stronger case or who had the weaker points, etc. We've been doing that through a survey that was managed by Mr. Tobias Strecker, and I would like to invite Tobias up onto the stage as we begin to share with you the results of those surveys and to get an understanding of how you all felt about the problem. Thank you, Tobias.
So, Christopher Key has already shared with you some numbers at the opening ceremony. 2,622 mooties, 1,340 coaches, 1,074 arbitrators conducted 831 hearings over the past days. That is Vienna alone. If we add Hong Kong, if we add the pre-moots, there were easily hundreds of thousands of hours that have been spent on this year's moot court problem. You all know what hourly rates lawyers charge. So I believe it is fair to say this has probably been the most inefficient arbitration in human history. I'm not sure if anybody ever thought about it, but one might really wonder if respondents shouldn't apply for security of costs here. At the announcements a couple of days ago, we have asked you to fill in a survey. We want to make use of all this brain power that went into this year's moot problem. And many of you have filled in the survey. Thank you very much for that. We have received over 700 responses, so I think what I can tell you now about the case is pretty representative. I think it's also fair to say that this is the largest arbitral tribunal to ever decide a case, so at least the money has been spent well. We also received a few comments. Some of you have complained that the case favors claimant too much. Some of you have complained that the case favors respondent too much. The equal number of these comments lets us conclude that the case may have been fairly balanced. So, what have you decided about the case? The first question that all of you have discussed over the last days is, what does current mean? Does it mean the time of the signing of the contract? Does it mean the time of the commencement of the arbitration? I would really love to put that dispute to rest for the time being. However, I cannot. The answers were almost equally split 50-50, half of you believing it is the time of contracting, half of you believing it is the time of the commencement of the arbitration. There was a very small margin favoring the time of the contracting, but it was very, very close. We also ask you then which rules apply to this arbitration. Is it the 2016 rules or is it the 2025 rules? We have a winner here. However, I must confess we played a little trick on you. We asked you different questions. Half of you were asked, do you believe that the tribunal will apply the 2016 version of the rules? And only 45% of you believed that the tribunal will apply the 2016 rules, so the winner is the 25 rules. The other half of you was asked, do you believe that the tribunal will apply the 25 version of the SIAC rules? And all of a sudden, 75% of you believed that the 25 rules are the winner. So in both cases, you favored the 2025 rules. However, it's an interesting reminder that the way how the question is phrased makes a huge difference in how you assessed the outcome. The next question was, which documents should be disclosed by respondent? And for both documents, you favored a disclosure. 60% believed that at least parts of the funding agreement should be disclosed. 66% believed that the litigation risk insurance agreement should be disclosed. That leads us to the substantive questions. The first question was, is respondent exempt? And we asked you two questions. Would it have been possible to arrange for an early delivery? And does that exclude the exemption? And most of you believed, 55%, that an early delivery would have been possible, and that excludes an exemption. So bad news for respondent. And the same is true, 56%, almost the same number, believed that an anticipatory import permit would have been possible, and therefore also no exclusion, neither under Article 79 nor under Clause 12. So only 36% of you believed that respondent would be exempt. I think it's fair to say respondent is liable for its failure to perform. Sherlyn, you disagree? Sherlyn disagrees, so we have a dissenting opinion here. If we go with the majority here, we have to decide what is the number of orchids on which we base the calculation of the damages. Is it 2,700? Is it 3,000? Is it 3,700? 3,300? We have a clear loser here. Only a small portion believe that it's 2,700. The answers between 3,000 and 3,300 were almost equally split. By a very small margin, the winner is 3,000. Two more questions. One was, what constitutes a substitute transaction here? Is it the contract with Herbal Cosmetics where the orchids were sold for $1,000 per orchid? Also here, the answers were fairly split equally, but there was a small margin that favored claimant's argument here. 51% believed that that would be the cover transaction that is decisive. When we ask if the exercise of the option later on for $3,200 if that would be the only cover transaction, only 31% of you believed that that would be the decisive deal. And that leaves us with only one question left. What should the award be? We ask you to estimate the amount of the award. The median award that you estimated was $2,700,000, and that concludes this arbitration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tobias. It is a very large room, and collectively we make a lot of noise. So I do ask that when you see someone at the lectern that conversations at tables stop, because it is hard for the people in the further parts of the room to hear if there's too much surrounding noise. The way this afternoon's banquet will progress is that we will have the various courses will be served to the tables, and at various points throughout the service we will come up and announce the series of awards. So there will be the next award, which we'll be back up shortly to announce, will be the Peter Sanders Memorandum for the claimant, and we will then proceed through those. So ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the food and the company. But as I say, when you see someone come back up here, just hush the conversation a little. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I shortly have your attention, please? We are starting with making the announcement for the awards. Many of you have worked with the New York Convention, and the first award for the Best Memorandum for Claimant is named after the father of the New York Convention, Peter Saunders. And the award will be presented by Alan Anderson, who is one of the arbitrators who comes regularly, stays until the end, and is always there at 8 o'clock, 8:30. So, Alan, the floor is yours. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Stefan, and thank you all for being here. I know that all of you worked extremely hard on your written memoranda, and it is my pleasure and privilege to announce the recipients of the Peter Saunders Award for the Best Memorandum for the Claimant. And the recipients are, first, I'm going to read the honorable mentions in alphabetical order, and I would ask you to please hold your applause until I have completed the names of the honorable mention recipients. These are in alphabetical order. Aarhus University. So much for holding applause. Al Faisal University. Harvard University. Keio University. King's College London. London School of Economics. National Law University, Delhi. National University of Singapore. Peking University. The University of Queensland. University of Bayreuth. University of Bonn. University of Buenos Aires. University of Copenhagen. University of Eastern Finland. University of Freiburg, Switzerland. University of Göttingen. University of Geneva. University of Graz. University of Lausanne. University of Ljubljana. University of Münster, and the University of Sydney. Those are the recipients of the honorable mention of the award. Please give them a round of applause. Okay, now for the third place recipient. There is a tie. Please hold your applause until I complete the names. It is a three-way tie for third place. Deakin University, University of Bern, and the University of Vienna. All right, we're now down to the second place. Believe it or not, it's a tie. Seriously, I'm not making this up. So please hold your applause until I read the names of the two tied recipients for the second place. National Law School of India and the University of Cambridge. And finally, and this is not a tie, and I would ask the recipient of this award to please come up. The winner of the Peter Saunders Award for Best Memorandum for Claimant is the University of Freiburg, Germany.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to disrupt your dinner because we have a person to celebrate and we have an excellent person to announce an award that you're waiting for. My name is Patricia Shaughnessy and I'm the president of the VIS MOOT organization. And I am very happy to share with you that we will now have the Werner Milles Award. Now, how many of you, you can raise your hands, how many of you know who Werner Milles is? Huh? Some of you. You are the future of the arbitration community, and Werner Milles is one of the important foundation stones who no longer is with us. But when Eric Bergsten got the idea of promoting at the then new CISG convention, he approached Werner Milles, the then president of the Austrian Chamber of Commerce, and asked if they would be willing to host a moot that would be based on the CISG in the context of an arbitration. I think the first moot was 11 or 12 teams, hosted at the premises of the Chamber of Commerce. And Werner Milles supported the moot literally until his dying days. And so we stand, as they say, on the shoulders of giants, the people who have created the foundations for what all of you are doing today. And it is my great honor to invite Vivek Nilekanan. I know I mispronounced the name. I think I have pronunciation dyslexia, clearly a liability in this field. I would like to invite him, Vivek, to come up and to announce the honorable mentions and winners of this award for Respondent Memo.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here to make the announcements for the Werner Milles Award for the Best Memorandum for Respondent. I have two short points before I begin. One, as with the previous announcements, please hold your applause and cheers until I run through the list of the honorable mentions in alphabetical order. And secondly, please forgive me in advance if I mispronounce any of the names of the universities. I mean no offense, and I look forward to learning more about you if I do. So with that, let me begin with the honorable mentions in alphabetical order. Bucerius Law School, Harvard University, Humboldt University, London School of Economics, Massayak University, National Law University, Delhi, University of Amsterdam, University of Belgrade, University of Bonn, University of Buenos Aires, University of Cambridge, University of Copenhagen, University of Florence, University of Freiburg, Germany, University of Gießen, University of Graz, University of Heidelberg, University of Innsbruck, University of Lausanne, University of Münster, University of Mainz, University of Munich, University of the State of Rio de Janeiro, University of Vienna, University of Warsaw, and the University of Zurich. Now for the awards themselves, For the third place, we have a two-way tie. So likewise, please hold your applause until I read out both names. And the two universities are the University of Cologne and the University of Geneva. The second place goes to the University of Sydney. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, of the Werner Mellis Award for Best Memorandum for Respondent, and we can have the team up here when the name is announced, is the University of Freiburg, Switzerland.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you take your seats again because it's time for the announcement of another award. And this award takes some time to announce. So I do ask you to take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to now announce the honourable mentions and winners of the Martin Domke Award. That's the award for the best oralist in the hearings this week. To have been eligible for this award, an oralist must have participated or spoken in at least 2 moots. And not only that, but they must have also spoken at least once as claimant and once as respondent. So they need to be totally on top of the case. The award is named after Martin Domke, and Martin Domke is another one of those giants of international commercial arbitration. And indeed, he was one of the legal scholars, legal academics who more than 60 years ago, in the 1960s and before, was teaching international arbitration courses, one of the pioneers in that respect. As with our other announcements, it gives us great pleasure to invite arbitrators who have contributed a lot over a number of years to come and present these awards. And I'm very pleased to invite Dr. Angela Kerbel to make the announcement on behalf of the organisation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello. It's a very big crowd here. As my predecessors, I'm asking you to bear with me if I don't pronounce the names correctly. So it is randomly, so it's not according to universities. The first one is University of State of Rio de Janeiro. I didn't say the name. So it's Bruno Vieira. I probably start with the name now. Lina Kopas, University of Bielefeld. Maria Vilas Boas Fanguendes, University of São Paulo, Lago San Francisco. Anum Nazir, Deakin University. Tabea Feldhaus, University of Osnabrück. Valentina Monsuarez, University of Montevideo. Petra Möller-Matzin, Aarhus University. Grace Schippies, American University. Cole Buffer, Benjamin N. Cardoso School of Law. Mia Knoch, University of Hamburg. Sejine Mangard, McGill University. Kaspar Brenger-Börninghoff, University of Münster. Pavani Pauline Kalra, National Law University, Jodhpur. Cully Roberts, Grace Inn. Annie Bergius, University of Helsinki. Penelope Labé, McGill University. Annette Sarah Abraham, National Law University, Jodhpur. I might pause, you might now applause to all of them. Mira Lakshim Armugam, King's College London. Jelle de Vries, University of Amsterdam. Carlos Edson Montero, Pontificat Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro. Ella Woods, the University of Queensland. Carl Christian Fenger, Morup, Aarhus University. Alexander Anthony Pedlage, University College London. Deborah Kornreich, University of State of Rio de Janeiro. Elise Hall, American University. Clara Sophie Buschken, University of Münster. Nicholas Light, Pontifical University of Rio de Janeiro. Felix Schnabel, Humboldt University. Beatrice Kutwak, Pontifical Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro. Robert Gilbert, the University of Queensland. Yuko Nogawa, Knoss Western University. Zara Sharafali, Royal University for Women. Thomas Taylor, London School of Economics. Sophia Vakelu, I'm really sorry. Sophia Vakelu Levierkiel-Kute, University of Maastricht. I'm sorry. Anna Louise Hassel, University of Heidelberg. Chuxin Wong, King's College London. Fabio Herrera Aue, Humboldt University. Kobe Lamont, Deakin University. Karan Nair, Government Law College, Mumbai. Louis Wang Tung Thomas, Chinese University of Hong Kong. Javier Delma Mario, Stratmouth University. And the last one, Akshay Prasan, University of New South Wales. I must say it's a lot of fun. So now coming to the award, and as also we had it this evening, the third place is a two-way tie between Evan Sims, National University of Singapore, and Juliette Eve Marie Grothard, University College London. Please have. Second place, Barbara Cazzani, University of Pavia. And the winner is Anna Gelea, University of St. Gallen. Will you make your way up to the stage, please?
Good afternoon. I would ask you to take a seat. We would like to proceed with the next announcement, which is the Eric E. Bergsten Award. So I would ask you to be silent, to take your seat. I still see so many walking around, please. I guess you all want to know the result from our final round. Well, the Eric Bergsten Award is named after the father of the Moot. He was a former secretary of Ancitral, and when he retired, he looked for a task that would fulfill his time, his spare time, and he picked up the idea of organizing the VIS MOOT, and he did it. He founded the VIS MOOT, and actually he is the reason why we are all here. Eric loved the Moot. It was, he said, the best part of his career after his retirement. So, I would ask the tribunal coming up to me, come up. To make the announcement of the team that won the final round. Thank you.
Speaking for my tribunal, it was a great privilege to hear from both teams' superb advocacy, and by teeny amount, the winner is the University of Munster. May I have your attention? Could the team come up, but may we have applause for Cambridge, please?
Would the teams come up to stage, please? Also the Cambridge team.
So well deserved. Congratulations. Amazing.
Ja, ich tauche dabei gar nicht auf mit meinem Poppen.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I ask that you take your seats again, please, because the awards announcements have not yet finished. There are more awards. One very important further award that needs to be presented. Ladies and gentlemen, there is the newest or youngest of the awards for the VIS MOOT, is the Michael Scher Award for the Spirit of the Moot. And we've shared a little bit about the people after whom these awards are named. And Michael Scher is someone who some people in this room will remember and will know, but someone similarly to whom you all owe a great debt of gratitude. At an UNCITRAL meeting in New York, when the question was, how do we promote the CISG? Michael, as a representative of the New York Bar at the time, put up his hand and suggested that perhaps it be done by way of a moot. And it was that idea that presented to Eric, and Eric then took on and gave the life that he did, that Patrizia referred to earlier. Michael came to the moot for very many years. He was a mainstay of the moot. It was his tradition to get one of the moot t-shirts and find every single person he could possibly find to sign that t-shirt, and he would take it home with him. But he also refused to ever arbitrate because he didn't want to judge any of the students. Because in his view, the purpose of the moot was to bring you all together as friends, as new acquaintances, and to ensure that you left with the best of all relationships. Michael epitomised the spirit of the moot. So it's with great honour that I want to invite Professor Ron Brand up onto the stage to make the announcement of the winner of the Michael Scher Spirit of the Moot Award this year. Ron.
It is really an honor to present the Martin Schiller Award, because this is what the moot really is all about. And this year, the award really does recognize those teams who came to understand better than anybody else what impediment and governmental intervention really means. And so there are some of the teams who could not be with us, and at the University of Pittsburgh and our Center for International Legal Education, we've worked with many of those teams that can't be here. But the award this year recognizes all those teams and goes to one of the teams who was able to make it, the Royal University for Women from Bahrain. Go ahead and come. And I invite them to come up to the stage.
Okay, you heard that the Royal University of Women Bahrain got the Michael Scher Award for the Spirit of the Moot. And one of the reasons why we gave them the award was the major obstacles they had to overcome. Unfortunately, out of the 406 teams we had, 22 teams could not make it to the moot for various reasons. And we are extremely grateful to our friends from Africa in the moot, to our friends from the Chartered Institute, and to IDCR in London, that they have agreed to set up a post-moot for those teams online. That is a great initiative, and it will take place online on the 10th and 11th of April. Could I ask many of the arbitrators in the room here perhaps to go to their webpage, to go to our page, to go to the webpage of the Chartered Institute, or to go to the webpage of Africa and the Moot, and see whether they're available as arbitrators for those 22 teams which couldn't make it to Vienna, but which we would like to have seen here, and to whom we want to provide an opportunity at least to get some mooting with high-profile arbitrators. And now there's something else I would like to do. The entire moot would not be possible without one person, and she hates me for that probably again. It's our main administrator, Birgit, and her team. Could I ask Birgit and the entire team to come up? The entire team.
Ladies and gentlemen, we still need your attention, please. The speeches haven't quite finished. So just so you know, just so everyone knows, the moot officially finishes when Stefan declares it closed. Okay, so if you don't hear Stefan declare it closed, there are still speeches to be had. So could I ask you all to take your seats again? I need everyone to take their seats, please. I need everyone to take their seats. Please take your seats. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a few speeches to give, so please take your seats. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that you heard at the beginning of the moot, but now might feel more real to you, is that you are now all alumni of the moot and are now all part of a very vast alumni network, and that fortunately there is a Moot Alumni Association. And I'd like to invite the Vice President of the Moot Alumni Association, Jessica Rado, to the stage to say a few words on behalf of the MAA.
Dear Moody's, coaches, arbitrators, organizers, good afternoon. I'm sorry to interrupt your celebrations, but I promise I will keep this quick. It is a pleasure to stand here today in front of this impressive audience to deliver closing remarks on behalf of the Moot Alumni Association. It is hard to believe that the VIS Moot is already over. After months of anticipation, hard work, sleepless nights, you finally did it. You competed into one of the largest competitions ever created, and no matter how far you got into the rounds, I hope you enjoyed every minute of it. This year's VIS Moot problem was released 174 days ago. This means that for 174 days, you've been learning about orchids, you've been timing your speeches, meeting your teammates and coaches every day, and probably simply obsessing over this one problem. And I can assure you, you are never going to go to the florist and see an orchid and look at it the same way. 170 days is a long time, but I'm not going to lie. Your first day without the VIS Moot will be quite harsh. You will go back home where your friends and family will not understand your orchid jokes and your VIS Moot references. They will look at you very confused whenever you answer their questions in 2 points. And they will also not understand why you're advocating so strongly for the next family vacation to be back in Vienna or perhaps even in Singapore. And it is hard for them to grasp the magnitude of this competition as they have not seen it firsthand. But again, only 1 week ago, that was probably the same for you. After the VIS Moot blues, which I can assure you will hit you soon enough, you will be left with joy and gratitude for this experience. And you will be looking back to this week as probably the best one in your legal studies. And when that feeling kicks in, I hope you will not think of yourself just as former Moody's, but rather as a VIS alum. As we previewed just 1 week ago, all of you are now part of the Moot alumni family, and we could not be more excited to welcome you. Moody's, coaches, arbitrators, and supporters, no matter your role, however the VIS Moot has touched your life, you are now part of an incredible network of true VIS Moot nerds. And so, we hope that you will formally join us and sign up to become MAA members. And if the VIS Moot blues are so hard, as many of us share, we encourage you to get involved and help us make the next VIS Moot even more memorable. So please apply to join our core team and work with us to give the next generation of Mooties another unforgettable 174 days of their legal careers. Welcome to the MAA, and thank you all.
So I take the opportunity, while most of you are still sitting, take the opportunity, first of all, to thank the Moot Alumni Association for all you organized here during the VIS Moot. Then I would like to thank all the arbitrators who came here, spent their time here, gave you feedback, and you will have sometimes received feedback you were not expecting. But I always tell my students, it's very good to receive the feedback here in a very friendly environment, then tell your clients, I've lost your $100 million case. So with that said, there's one final announcement to be made. And that is the announcement concerning the rules for the 36th Moot. 36th Moot. So in 3 years' time, we have selected, after a fierce competition between a number of very prominent and very supportive arbitration institutions, the rules of the Swiss chambers. Sorry. You see that the mood is taking some toll on me, yeah? Now, I hope you're all quiet. It's the Stockholm Chamber of Commerce. My apologies. And with that, I conclude the moot. I wish you all a safe journey home. I wish you a good time here in Vienna or in Europe. And I hope to see many of you back later next year as coaches, arbitrators, or in future years as arbitrators, coaches, and whatever you do, stay close to the moot and come with us. We believe in peaceful dispute resolution. That's one of the most important things for the moot. Have a safe journey home.
No, we each get a mic.
Stefan made another mistake,
Yeah.
which is impossible with this wonderful problem.
Patricia,
Okay.
Sword,
We may have had a little bit of wine, however, and I do ask that everyone still remain quiet.
And if you don't listen to Charlene, you're in trouble.
You are. People on the outside. Anyways, everyone here knows that this moot would not be possible this year without not only all of the support team.
A little clue, 3 people, and you're going to stand up after we announce them.
So can we please take a huge round of applause to thank our VIS MOOT directors, Patricia, Chris, and Stefan. Please stand up.
Stand up, stand up.
Woo-hoo! Please come up. I have no flowers, I'm sorry. I have no flowers.
Round of applause.
Did you think you were going to get away with it? Absolutely not. Even with the mistake.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we hope to see everybody at the Moot Bar tonight at Al Gazelle. Thank you, MAA. Or the Landmann. Enjoy.